This might be a bit of a strange video, but I've got to pot up all of these different aloe pups that I've pulled off of my aloe that I somehow killed over winter. And whilst I do it, I thought I might as well tell you why I love Björk so much. I'm not going to try and convince you to love her as well, but I'm just putting it out there. And if you do love Björk, then maybe it'll be interesting to see if we love her for the same reasons. So that's what we're doing. She's like the celebrity that if I saw... I hate calling her a celebrity. She's like the musician or artist slash celebrity that if I saw her in real life, I would have an absolute freak out about. Like, I don't know whether I would talk to her or not. I don't know if you've got that about any celebrity or artist or something where you're like, I love them so much if I saw them in real life, I don't know whether I'd be able to control myself. Not in a bad way, but just as in like, I don't know if I'd talk to them or not. I found Björk, or I discovered my first experience with Björk. I think I was actually on holiday in Lanzarote and I was listening to a lot of Ray of Light by Madonna. So this is probably, we're talking like early 90s. And my dad was like, why don't you try this album by Björk? And I was like, okay, fine. I knew about like Army of Me and It's So So Quiet, because obviously they're absolute anthems. And I brought Debut, Björk's first album, and I started listening to it and I was like, yeah, maybe this is all right. Like Venus as a Boy, kind of cool, Human Nature, really fun music video. But it was weirdly the last two tracks of the album that made me have like a moment with music. There's a song called Anchor Song on there, which is essentially like her singing along to some, like a whole brass, well, I don't know how many brass instruments there are, but like her singing along to like a, almost like a jazz quartet or like quintet or something, but it's not jazzy. It's actually really sad sounding. And she's like, I live by the ocean and during the night I dive into it. And honestly, there's this moment where the chords, and she goes, underneath all currents, and the chords on these like brass instruments, you know when you have like an actual epiphany, I promise those people playing those trumpets changed my life. Like that is an insane thing to say, but that song completely blew me away. And it was the version of the album that then also had Play Dead on it, like this massive song full of strings that David Arnold, I think, produced. And it was for a film, like I think it might have even been like a bit of a gangster film, which is weird. And I loved that as well. And then that immediately got me hooked on Björk, and I was like, right, I'm now a Björk fan for life. And ever since then, I started buying her albums, listening to her music. And every single time I've found something on an album that's given me like proper like tingles, like proper shivers, like moments with music that you're like, this has just done something to my insides in a very, very good way. Her more recent stuff is super experimental, but like at least she's doing it. Like that's what she wants to make, and how cool that she's able to just make a living out of like pure creativity. She also has the coolest fashion sense. I don't know if you saw her the other day. I think it was for the summer solstice. No, it wasn't. It was for the solar eclipse. She just had this giant balloon outfit on and she was just rocking out. I mean, what a ledge. Like, why wouldn't you do that if you could? Give me a balloon outfit. I'll be very, very happy. She also said this thing that really stuck with me. I can't remember if I read it in a book or if I watched it on YouTube in an interview. But she basically, her voice is interesting, right? People either love her voice or not. And, oh, sorry, by the way, we're in my shed. This is why there's furniture everywhere. I think it was someone asked her, like, are you ever embarrassed about your voice, or are there ever moments of your voice that you don't like? And her response was so cool. She was like, no, this is like, I think she did say when she was younger, yes. But she was like, no, this is my voice. This is the instrument that I've got. This is what I've got to play with. Like, why should I be embarrassed about that? That's just the sounds that my voice makes. And I remember being like, God, that is so cool. Also true, but like so cool in terms of like screw everyone else being like, hey, your voice sounds weird. Like she was like, well, that's the voice I've got and I want to make music. So tough luck. That's what I've got to work with. And I remember hearing that and being like, right, you are for me, because I was always kind of like creative as a kid, trying loads of stuff, quite creative still now, messing around with things. And that attitude of like, no, this is what I've got to work with, I think that is really cool and something that I've carried forward with my life. I wouldn't say it's a mantra or a motto, but it's definitely stuck with me. This one needs to go in a pot. If you were to ask me what songs you should listen to, there are 5 songs that I think any Björk newbie should give a go, or at least let their ears have a little tickle with. The first one is probably my favourite Björk song of all time, and that is Joga, which is spelled Joga. It is the most insane song. It has these amazing strings which are like, oh my god, the first time I heard it, I was like, what is going on to my ears? I'm obsessed. I had an old Nokia 3310 or something like that, and you used to be able to compose your own ringtones, and I remember trying to make that on that phone. There's also this mad crunchy bit where she's really inspired by volcanoes, and so everything goes a bit industrial at one point, but don't worry, the strings come back. So definitely listen to that one. From the same album, it's called Homogenic. It's the one where she had like the mad neck coils and the Princess Leia buns on the side of her head. There's a song called All Is Full of Love. There's an album version and a single version, I think, and listen to the single version. Again, it's these strings that kind of come sweeping in, and she's singing about how everything is full of love, like literally. I mean, what a lovely song. And the music video is 2 robots making out. So you should probably watch the music video as well, because I remember that winning all kinds of awards because it was like one of the most amazing music videos of all time. And then another one you could try is a song called Hyper Ballad. Again, thinking about it now, the ones that I love have loads of strings in. Hyper Ballad is from an album called Post, which was her second album. It's the second song, I think, on the album. And again, the first time I heard it, I melted. It's kind of got this really cool like dance, like doosh, 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 doosh song in it, beat in it even. And she's like, safe up here with you. And she's singing about like throwing herself off a cliff, like cutlery. Car parts, bottles and cutlery, or whatever I find lying around. Trust me, beautiful. There's a crazy album called Volta where she looks like a giant apple on the front cover. That's got loads of like really poppy, mad, like new ravey style stuff. I think Timbaland actually really did some beats on that album as well, so you could try that one. Or if you want to stick with the strings like I do, try Stone Milker from a, I don't know if that's from Biophilia or from a newer album, I can't remember, maybe Volonicura. That's a cool song, and she sings about milking a stone, but again, there's loads of cool strings in that. My 5th song would be Unison from the Vespertine album. Probably one of the most beautiful albums I've ever heard in all time, for my ears. It's got like a choir that sings on it, and she's, it's like got this big like kind of like swelling song. I think it's the last song on the Vespertine album. You need to listen to Unison. I remember when I had the album, I was lying on the sofa, my parents watching TV, and I was listening to it as a kid. And I remember being like, oh no, this album isn't for me at all. Like some nice bits, but not the one. And then, you know, when a song hooks you and then you listen to the whole album, like it was Unison. I played it and like, it starts off like really slow and really like sort of sparse. And then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I cannot recommend a listening after that. So they're my 5 songs. You need to go listen to those 5 songs. Hopefully they're listed here somewhere so that you've got them. And maybe I'll try, I'll put a link in the description. Yes. I'll put a link in the description to Spotify or something so you can listen to them there. This is a weird one, isn't it? Look at that. There's a few weird moments from Björk's career that I also really love. She's mad keen on nature, as am I. She loves mushrooms, and she did a really amazing like documentary with David Attenborough, really weirdly. They must be friends in some way. She's also done a film called Dancer in the Dark. Now, I love the film. It's quite a long film, which is fine, but it's really sad. Like, it's all about her going blind and like, and her saving up money to help her son. And it's also a musical. It's the most mental film ever. And there's some really cute songs on the soundtrack. There's one called like New World, I think. It's really nice. So look, if you're in the mood for a bit of a depressing musical, then try Dancer in the Dark. And then there was also the time where she dressed up as a swan. This must have been for the Vespertine album because she was wearing the swan dress on the front cover. And she was at the Brits or some award ceremony, I can't remember which. Someone will have to have a little Google and tell me. and she laid eggs on the carpet. So she was like this mother swan, and she would just like every now and then just drop a little egg on the red carpet. And you know, when you're like, who does that? Just going to the movies, or just going to this premiere, or just going to this amazing awards ceremony. I think I'll just quickly lay a little egg. I mean, she's a hot mama. She's a hot lady. But she was such a babe on that night. So hopefully you'll agree. Messy hands. If you do ever get the opportunity to go see her live, I fully recommend. I saw her at Glastonbury one year. I mean, I don't know what year it was. Again, I'd have to Google. But it was amazing. She did a song called Declare Independence. Actually, it was from that era where she was dressed as an apple on the album cover. And there's a song called Declare Independence, which gets louder. It's quite like a sort of anti-everything song, if I'm honest. She blew the speakers at Glastonbury. It was mental. Like, the speakers actually blew up on the whole side of... It was at the other stage, and I was on the side where the speakers blew up. And it was like, what's just happened? She's just blown the speakers while she was singing about waving a flag high. What edge? I've seen her live in normal concert. She kind of ends up doing, which I love, she kind of almost ends up doing like a greatest hits, but in the style of the latest album. So it's quite fun. So even if you've not listened to some of the new stuff, then you get treated to all the old stuff as well. But it would just be an interpretation of it in the style of the new album, which is actually kind of fun because then you hear some absolute classics in a totally different way. I really feel that like, I really found myself when I found Björk. So at the time I was kind of listening to like kind of more grungy rock stuff, like rock music. You know, when you're like trying to be different as a teenager and you're like, no, this is who I am. This is my identity, man. You kind of reset that whole expectation for me when I was like, I don't know, 15, 16. And it was like, no, just listen to what you want to listen to. Listen to what makes you feel emotions or makes you feel excited. If you want to feel sad, excited, happy, whatever it is. So like, I had a massive switch in my musical taste from it being purely sort of like rock mode. And I'm talking like bands like Defenestration, Kitty. But yeah, I was really into it. And it completely reset it to be like, well, actually, maybe I really like Massive Attack and like trip hop and like weird experimental electronic music like Matmos. I still loved bands like Skunk Anansie. Don't get me wrong, they are absolutely legendary. But like, it just completely reset my expectation about the sort of music that I could listen to and that I could love and feel something from. And now I'd say, above everything else, I probably listen to music that doesn't have guitars and has more like found sounds, field recordings, synth noises. Ideally, it's got a Scandinavian or Icelandic lady singing away over it. And look, at one point I wanted to be a musician and I was making music and really trying to like emulate what she was getting up to. Obviously, I didn't do very well at that because here I am putting plants in pots in my shed. And actually, weirdly, when I did release some music, all the reviews were like, female singer. And I was like, yes, absolutely nailed it. We've only got like a few more left to go. We might as well finish it, mightn't we? There's a wasp in here. There's a wasp in here immediately. Why did you come in here? Come on, get out. Come on. The wasp has gone. Basically like a wasp herder. I feel like I've confessed a lot to you just there. I really would love to know, like, do you have an artist that I should listen to that you think I would love? Knowing that I'm kind of open to all different sorts of music. Like, who should I try next? We've absolutely nailed it. Look, we've done like, oh, I'm going to shove this last bit in. There we go. We've done 22 pots of this aloe that I left outside over the winter and it mulched quite a lot and killed itself. But all these pups are here. I'm going to put these in the greenhouse for a few days. Guys, we've achieved so much. Well done us. Need to wash my hands.